Okay, here we are in my arcade project again. Alright, so unfortunately I had to restructure some of these components out, guys. It just really was too weak to use the Raspberry Pi. The reasoning behind it was because the Raspberry Pi was just equivalent to like a Pentium 2 300 megahertz. Of course, you know, that doesn't account for the HD decoding capabilities or anything like that, but it literally couldn't handle what I was throwing at it. I noticed a lot of slowdown. It was a pain to really configure the emulators and everything. I'm not good at Linux, I admit it completely, but one thing I am good at, just like generically everybody else, is Windows. Now, I had my Acer net top right here, as you can see right there. That was actually just sitting upstairs next to my router, being a Plex media server. Now, it really wasn't a very good media server anyway. I guess it was the throughput and everything. It just couldn't get that data fast enough through. So it's a multitude of reasons for that. The Atom processor, also because it was 2 gigabytes of RAM, also because of the way I configured it and everything too. I didn't do the best job with that, I admit that. But it's suffice to say, it actually did stream HD, and just couldn't stream anything really, you know, higher than HD or anything like that. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would you like to stream higher than HD? Well, I would like to stream HD in a slightly higher quality level than what I wanted to do. But because unfortunately I was only able to stream like 720, so it wasn't doing full HD properly stream-wise. Could have been my network though. I'm not really too concerned of it now, because I really kind of a superfluous feature that I really didn't feel I needed now anyway, because I have Rokus everywhere and this and that, and I already have my other computers on 24/7 almost anyway. So, having said all that, the net top has Windows XP on it. Now, I know what you're thinking, Windows XP, yada yada yada, it's outdated, it's not being supported by Windows. This computer is not going to be connected to the internet. So that's a little bit of a safety factor right there. If it's not connected to the internet, guys, it really doesn't matter if it's an outdated operating system or not, because that's really where you're going to have the trouble, with somebody trying to get into your network. So, as much as I'd like to build a networked one, it's just, I feel like it's not even really worth it. Maybe I'll do something in the future where I'll just plug in a USB dongle and just, you know, get freaking music streaming out of it like a jukebox, but that really wasn't the intention of this project. So, as you can see right here, like I said, the net top, I do have a subwoofer right there with some shitty cyber acoustic speakers, and then I have the Miracle monitor that I bought that came in a shoebox. Then I have, of course, the actual iCade machine right there, which for some reason is really dark on this thing, but you get the gist of it. And then I still have the original clicky buttons, which, just so you know, if you were playing and everybody in your house is sleeping, probably wake them up with that. So, having said all that, too, oh, I also have this. This is Cade. This baby is also going to be responsible for hooking up my buttons once I get the wire harnesses, maybe a new joystick, and new switches, of course. Probably new buttons. I really don't like red. I hate the color red. And I'm probably going to paint the unit too afterwards. But anyway, for testing purposes right now, I have a joystick hooked up right there, and I also have an old Dell keyboard hooked in via USB. Now, one of the big problems I have with this thing is, it must have came with a bad CMOS battery, or just a lousy battery. Since day one, almost, I think it was like the week after, I've noticed that this thing didn't have proper CMOS battery support, because every time it'll prompt me and I have to hit F1 and then it'll work. So anyway, suffice to say, that's the computer right there. It's fully on. I don't think I plugged in the speakers though. Oops. Which unfortunately is the cause of a couple of problems. big into here, of course. Okay, so let's give this thing a whirl. God, I need to get the excitement set up. We're gonna do this Ashen style, and I'm going to show you guys how good this can be. Now, if you see there, let's see. Of course, it's whitewash. There we go. We're gonna run Fasuix. That's the Nintendo emulator, FCEUX. It's probably not pronounced Fasuix. And then we're going to run one of my classic games. Let's see if there's sound. I don't know how I'm going to fit these speakers into the top portion right here. I want to basically take a plexiglass, cover this all right there, and then for the top portion, I want to come along and just build like a plexiglass marquee, put an LED in it with the speakers or whatnot. So I'm probably going to end up either hacking apart these speakers to fit them, or just buying little shitty ones. I just want for players to be able to hear the sound, and not necessarily like have like friggin' SDDS sound or THX quality. We're just going for a mini arcade game here. So, and I would love to include the subwoofer. Really would. If only you guys at home could understand how good that actually does sound comparatively for such a setup. So, anyway, let's press start right here. And there's no point in name entry in this game. It makes no sense. So this is kind of where I was going for with it. Playing Nintendo, Super Nintendo Arcade. Those were my main systems at the time. And of course, I'm playing with one hand here too, so just bear with me. You probably wouldn't even be able to tell. Okay, so as I'm playing, I think I'll talk to you at the same time. Let's probably make it a little bit more challenging. Alright, so where it says Miracle and all the buttons, auto, menu, and all that right there, the power, that's all going to get covered with black tape. Now, it's not going to look perfect. I failed arts and crafts as a kid. I failed many subjects of creativity, art, that kind of thing. It just really wasn't my thing. So, most of that's just going to be covered simplistically with black tape. I don't know if I'm going to cover the light right there. I probably would too. I mean, usually when you're at the arcade, you wouldn't have anything like that. And then I was thinking of putting a, I believe it's called a bezel, around it too. Now, I haven't even done measurements yet, or anything like that, but it's almost like if I get a high quality photo paper, and I know that sounds terrible, I would basically cut out the middle and then over or put it under the plexiglass that I put in here. I'm willing to do something simple like that. I might make like a mini. The plan was originally to make a mini gauntlet cabinet. I might actually just end up buying like gauntlet stickers and everything, like a decal, a small one, and just slap one there and slap one there after I paint the whole thing black. Of course, I'm going to get rid of the iCade instructions, which are completely useless. And in case you guys are wondering where you pick up an iCade, besides eBay, I actually saw 3 or 4 of these at a local flea market. So, I could have picked up probably 3 or 4 of these for like $5 each, not even. So it was pretty crazy. So consult your local flea markets if there's anything available in your area. And back to the actual project here. Under this, if I can just flick it up for a second, you really can't see. No, you can't see it all. There's actually a little area underneath where my hand is. I can fit, you see that? I can fit my whole hand under there, and it's not just covering it. It's actually inside it by at least almost an inch, I'd say. So what that area right there is going to be, that's going to be my little secret area. I'm going to mount that son of a gun into that right under it. Have the power button right here accessible. I was thinking of trying to rewiring it. I'm not really adept at that stuff yet, so I was like, maybe not. So I'm just going to literally have it flick your pan right there. Naturally, everything in here is going to be, God, not cemented down, my God. I don't want to say taped down either, that sounds very unprofessional. Screwed in. Screwed in. Everything's going to be screwed in eventually. So it'll really look semi-professional, basically the way I'm doing it. And I think the key to all of this stuff is just basically taking your time with it, not rushing through it. This is just a hobby project. I have a full-time job, I have a full-time girlfriend, and I have a full-time family. So there's and a dog right there. So there's a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. So this has been like one of those side projects that I literally haven't really accomplished much with yet. So having said all that too, I hope you like my background as well. So, having said all that, I think the video is done now, and I can't wait for the next step when I buy the wires, the micro switches, and also probably some new arcade parts to make it look awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Please comment if you have any questions.